Hi, everyone. Welcome to Bedtime Stories with me, Miss Debbie. Tonight, we're going to have a very special edition. We're going to have some Hanukkah stories because right now it is Hanukkah. But I love Hanukkah stories because you can tell them all year long. In fact, I just ordered one from the library and it'll get here after Hanukkah, but I can't wait to read it because it's one of my favorites. But stay tuned for that one next week. So tonight, our first book is called Hanukkah Haiku by Harriet Ziefert and paintings by Carla Goodin. Look at how pretty this book is. I'll bet you can make paintings like that or collage cutouts. Harriet Ziefert is a very prolific author, writing many, many books for children. She used to be a second grade teacher. And a haiku is just a little poem. Hanukkah Haiku. For 8 days and nights, special candles we will light. It is Hanukkah. Look at all those beautiful colors looking inside those homes. So here's the Hanukkah menorah, and there's a very special candle here, which is the servant candle, and it's used to light. It's always lit, and it's used to light each of the candles for all 8 days. 2 candles are lit tonight. Daddy holds the shamash high, it lights the others. So there he's holding the servant candle or the shamash to light the other 2. 3 candles tonight. Mommy makes a dreidel spin. Nun, Gimel, Hey, Shin. So spinning the dreidel is a game to play. It's a lot of fun, actually. And there's the 3 candles. 4 candles tonight. Grandma fries the latkes brown. We want applesauce to go with it. Latkes are potato pancakes, and they're just delicious with applesauce homemade. 5 candles tonight. Uncle gives a gift of gelt. The coins are shiny. Gelt are golden coins, sometimes filled with chocolate. 6 candles tonight. We listen to the story of the Maccabees. 7 lights tonight. We hold hands and dance and turn. It is Hanukkah. Do you know any Hanukkah songs? 8 candles tonight. Happy children stand and gaze. All the candles blaze. Look at how beautiful the menorah is when it's full of candles. What a beautiful book this is. Look at all those colors on the pages. It looks like beautiful wallpaper. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. It's always nice to have a festival of holiday things and exciting presents and lights and chocolate, latkes and applesauce, good food. All right, so our second book is called Hanukkah Lights Everywhere by Michael J. Rosen and illustrated by Melissa Eway. Do you like to, because it gets dark so early now, if you're riding around in the night, do you like to look at the houses and in the windows and see Hanukkah lights or Christmas lights? It's just fun to see lights in other people's houses. Look, there's their menorah. Hanukkah lights everywhere. Here they are taking out the very special Hanukkah menorah. It gets packed away with other decorations until it's time for the holiday, which usually comes in December. And here's another picture of the kitty cat playing with the Hanukkah candles. On the night before Hanukkah, we ready the house for company. My sister helps Dad make up the extra beds, and Mom peels apples for applesauce. I put a new box of candles by the menorah that's waited all year, just like me, for the Festival of Lights. And here they are shaking out the blankets for the bed, and he's setting up the menorah. They live in an apartment building in a city. And here's another building, and there's a menorah in one window and lights around another window. And you could see the sky is just having sunset. And that's usually the time of day that we light our candles, at sunset. On the first night of Hanukkah, we say the prayers and light one candle with the tall helper candle. Outside, the skinny moon beams like a proud candle flame against the dark sky. And they're using the helper candle or the server candle to light the first candle for the first night of Hanukkah. And that's when you say your prayers. On the second night of Hanukkah, 2 headlights aim right through the window into the living room, where my sister and I spin the dreidel on the floor. Grandpa's here. So they're playing with the dreidel. Here he's got the dreidel. And they're spinning 4 coins. And the 2 headlights come in the window. And you could see that Grandpa's parking his car. And the 2 candles of Hanukkah are now lit. The helper candle is always lit. On the third night of Hanukkah, I switch on the lamps out front so that my cousins who are coming to visit can find our door. And suddenly there are 3 more lights, like in our menorah. And when he says 3 more lights, he means the company. 3 more people, 3 more cousins, to make a festive family gathering. On the 4th night of Hanukkah, I find 4 lights in the kitchen. Mom fries up platters full of latkes, and 4 flames flicker under the sizzling skillets and the pots steaming on the stove. Doesn't all this talk of latkes make you want to have some? I think I feel like making some. And here everyone's helping. Because it's fun to help in the kitchen for the holidays, right? Here's the potatoes for the potato pancakes, aka latkes. On the 5th night of Hanukkah, my great-grandma gives me 5 shiny silver dollars, one for every birthday I've had. When I line them up on my hand, they stretch from my tippy-top fingertip past my wrist and up my arm. They sparkle like 5 more lights in the candle's glow. And there he lined up the coins on his arm. It's cute. And Grandma's there knitting, and Sister is playing with a doll. It's just a cozy Hanukkah evening. On the 6th night of Hanukkah, my family takes a walk down the snow-covered streets, and guess what? 6 other houses have menorahs gleaming in their windows. So isn't it nice to go for a winter's walk in the early evening and look at, like I said, all the lighted windows? And there you can see There are menorahs in some of the other windows. Holiday time is such a fun time. On the seventh night of Hanukkah, my best friend's house, where he celebrates Christmas, a lamp with just one bulb burns in each window, 7 altogether, just like in our menorah tonight. Dad says that Hanukkah is also about the joy of different religions sharing a street. What a beautiful way to say that. And there's his friend's house. You can see in the window there is a Christmas tree, a wreath on the door, and candles in each of the windows. Looks like they have lights on the house as well. On the 8th night of Hanukkah, I find all 7 stars in the Big Dipper, plus the famous North Star above us, as though God too were lighting his own menorah in the sky. So they went up to the rooftop of their apartment to look at the stars. So you can see the Big Dipper, and there's 7 stars in the Big Dipper. It looks like a big spoon. That's what it was called, a dipper, or a pot that you dip water out of a well. And then this part of the dipper points right to the North Star. So if you could find the Big Dipper in the sky, you can find the North Star. And on the 9th night, which isn't even Hanukkah anymore, and the next night after that, and even today, I still see things that remind me of our menorah. And I think about Hanukkah and about being Jewish in such a wide world of so many other lights. And that's what Hanukkah is called, the Festival of Lights. That's one good thing about it getting dark early, because then we're awake to see the lights and how beautiful they look at night. So I'm wishing you a happy Hanukkah. How do dinosaurs say Happy Hanukkah? By Jane Yolen and Mark Teague. So this is from a very popular and famous collection of books, How Do Dinosaurs Say? And they're quite the story about a bad little dinosaur or a bad big dinosaur learning his manners. So here's a bad little dinosaur just running around the house and tripping over the presents while mommy is getting a little bit annoyed. Like, slow down, my son. Behave. Does a dinosaur act up on Hanukkah nights when mama comes in with the holiday lights? And here she's coming in with the menorah to place in the window. And does a dinosaur act up? Does he act like a big baby or a fool? Look at him sticking his tongue out and making a face. How not nice on a holiday. Does he fidget and fuss through the candlelight prayer? So there's Mama and Papa saying the prayer. And does he fidget and fuss because they're not paying attention to him? Hope not. Does he blow out the candles when no one is there? That's really bad. It's not a birthday cake. It's Hanukkah candles. Does he peek at the presents stashed under Dad's bed? I had a friend in 3rd grade, and they had this is who brought the presents, Hanukkah Claus. Maybe you have Hanukkah Claus. Maybe Hanukkah Claus put the presents under Dad's bed. Does he write his own name on each gift card instead and hog all the presents? And the very next day, does he grab up the gelt? The gelt is the chocolate money wrapped in gold foil. Squeezing the candy coins until they all melt? Well, no, you're supposed to eat them, not squeeze them. Does he snatch away dreidels so no one can play? Me, I'm playing. That's quite a fascinating dinosaur, isn't it? Look at those wings, and he has little hands on the wings. That's great. Does he do this for each of the 8 festive days? Oh my goodness, 8 days of bad behavior. Mama and Papa are not happy. No, he doesn't. No, a dinosaur doesn't. He sings every prayer, takes turns with the dreidel, and remembers to share. He eats up his latkes, helps clear away dishes. That's always a big help. Do you clear away dishes from your place at the table? Gives Bubby and Zeta big Hanukkah wishes. Nice. Each time he's in bed for 8 nights, hear him snore. He goes to sleep like a good dinosaur. Happy Hanukkah, you good dinosaur. Do you have a dinosaur in your family? I hope not. Our last story for tonight is a really special one. The Hanukkah Magic of Nate Gadol. And this is such a beautifully illustrated book, illustrated by Kevin Hawkes, written by Arthur A. Levine. This is a book you'd want to borrow and look at and be inspired by. The Hanukkah Magic of Nate Gadol. I'm going to show you what he looks like. Wow. Nate Gadol was a great big spirit who had eyes as shiny as golden coins and a smile that was lantern bright. In answer to people's prayers, he made things last as long as they needed to. Sometimes the task was huge, like when he got the call from above to make a tiny bit of oil last 8 days and nights in the far off long ago. And sometimes it was a smaller thing, like keeping a flower fresh long after it should have faded, to keep up the spirits of someone who was sick in bed. So here is Nate Gadol. He's quite a big spirit. And here he's keeping a flower fresh for a little girl who's sick in bed. You probably noticed that we give flowers to people who are sick. Look at these beautiful pictures. Big or small, the task would suit Nate either way. It didn't matter if he was making butter stretch for an important cake or keeping a dam strong in a storm. Singers didn't need him necessarily to hold a very long note, but if a person's whole life depended on it, you could count on him. And here he is, sitting with his back against a leaky, cracked dam to keep the flood from coming in. to the valley. It's pretty magical. You have to admit, magic does happen. Can you think of a time when you had magic? Nate is especially like the Glazer family, who took a boat over from Europe during what should have been the Purim holiday. They'd spent every last penny buying their passage, so of course there was nothing left over for gift baskets. Mrs. Glazer had brought along her last bit of chocolate, planning to share it with the children for the holiday. But when the time neared and she looked at the small lump wrapped carefully in a handkerchief, her heart sank, knowing it would not be enough. So the people don't see Nate. They don't know about his magic. And here is a picture of Mrs. O'Malley. Her children are sleeping on the bunks. They're on a boat, a cold boat, rocking over the ocean, the cold ocean to come to America. And she saved a little piece of chocolate, but she knew it wouldn't be enough. And here is Nate. She can't see Nate. She doesn't know Nate. Yet come the eve of the holiday, when she pulled out the handkerchief, there was not one lump, but three. And every time she broke off a piece, it seemed that there was more she hadn't noticed. Look at the bright colors around the candy. That says magic. Nate loved stuff like that. They were such a hardworking bunch, those Glazers, so friendly too. And when they got to America, they shared what little they had with their closest neighbors, the O'Malleys. When the days got colder, they gave an outgrown coat to Fergus O'Malley, and little Elijah Glazer helped push the O'Malleys' potato cart home from the market. So there's Elijah Glazer helping to push the cart, but who's helping him? Unbeknownst to him was Nate. But no one was prepared for that winter of 1881. That year, the cold came early. The harvest was slim, and the crowds in the market thinned. Mrs. Glazer shared their food around as best as she could, and sometimes skipped her own portion. Then next door, baby Carrie O'Malley got sick, and her family had no money for medicine. So here's the Glazer family in their house. Look, it's cold outside, it's snowing. The mittens are hung up to dry. They have nothing to eat, but it looks like oatmeal. But Nate is putting magic into the oatmeal pot to make it full. And look at his eyes. They're just full of life and magic. Nothing Nate Gadol could do about that. He couldn't stretch what wasn't there. But Mr. Glazer sold a small bench he'd been carving and gave the money to the O'Malleys to buy medicine for Carrie. Nate could stretch that to last till she was better. Still, it meant there was nothing left over for Hanukkah sweets. "Oh, well," Mr. Glazer said to Mrs. Glazer, "Hanukkah chocolate's nice, but it's not so important." Of course, they both knew the kids would be disappointed. So in this picture, you can see the rich man who bought the bench, and Mr. Glazer is holding the money. And there on the table are the tools he used to carve the bench. And there's Nate hovering over Mr. Glazer and kind of magically looking at the money to make it last more. That night happened to be Christmas Eve. The wind howled through the cracks like an angry cat, and snow began to settle on the rooftops where Nate Gadol stood looking out over the streets. Suddenly, Nate heard a rumble of something like hooves on tar, and a voice shouting, "Whoa, whoa," behind him. And here he is on the rooftop. Still snowing. It was a man in a bright red suit, a gang of reindeer breathing clouds heavily into the cold air, and a sleigh that looked decidedly off kilter. The red suited man was not happy. "Hey, Nick, what's the matter?" asked Nate. The two knew each other from way, way back. So there's Nate. There's the reindeer. And there's Saint Nick on his sleigh. I don't see any bag of presents in there. "I don't know what happened," Santa said. "The sleigh magic is nearly empty. Are there a lot of people having trouble believing this year?" "'Fraid so," said Nick, thinking of the O'Malleys. Then suddenly an idea came to him. "Hey, Nick, you got any chocolate loaded on that sleigh of yours? Could I borrow a little?" "I'm sure we can find something in all these presents," said Nick. Look at Nate's eyes. I love this picture. I want to frame this picture and put it in my room and remind me that there is a big spirit up there that's full of magic, good magic. A happy handshake, and a few minutes later, each friend had helped the other. Santa's sleigh was now sparkling with Gadol magic, and Nate's sack was full to the brim. And there's Santa's sleigh, glowing with the magic. And there's Nate's sack, also filled with glowing magic. In the O'Malley's apartment, boxes with ribbons and shiny paper spilled out from under the tree. You can tell Nate was there because he left his trail of magic. Woo! And in the Glazers, big bags of Hanukkah chocolate sat outside each person's bedroom door, on top of something that had never been there in years past. Boxes with ribbons and shiny paper too. There's Nate. Nate's looking in the window. After that, the idea of Hanukkah presents really caught on. I mean, what could be bad about presents? And if times were hard, there was always someone they could turn to. And here they are, the Glazers looking out from their bedroom door at magical boxes of presents underneath a bag of candy, and the table with latkes and applesauce. Because Nate Gadol is never too far away, if a family is one latke, one candle, or one wish short of a magical holiday. Bye, Nate. Thanks for coming by. Thank you for listening to my stories. I hope you have sweet dreams, and I'll see you next time. Good night.